How about now? Can you hear me now, Rod? It would be helpful if I didn't mute. How's that? Can you hear me now? All right. This is what happens when you switch computers after you spend lots of time setting up the old one. You miss steps when you do it. So how's the video? How's the sound now? Is it sounding better? Is it seeming better? Jen, give me some feedback here, please. The video is very unclear. It's like, is it very choppy? Give me some descriptive words to tell me what exactly is up with the video. Is it just low, like, is it low quality? Huh, okay. Let me just see if there's something that I can fix here. I'm just checking to see if there's any way for me to up the quality. You could also try to up the quality in YouTube as well. Like if you click on the three dots, it should say quality, and if it says like P144, you could try going up one, and it might automatically put the resolution back up one. So that might be because when the signal was coming when you first logged in, the quality was bad on my end, and so therefore you may have to change it on your end. Okay. It's repeating, like it's lagging. Okay, so once you did that, Jen, it's okay. Well, hopefully, I guess what I could do also is I could try stopping the stream and restarting it, but I'm hoping that everybody can play around with the quality button to try to up it. Again, I apologize. My computer auto-connected to the neighbor's Wi-Fi for some reason rather than mine. Hi, Miss Tomlin. We had some slight technical issues with my laptop connecting to a bad Wi-Fi connection, but I think we've sorted it out now. So again, if you have not yet said hello in the chat so that I can see and make a note for the attendance, I'm looking through. I'm going to do the romper room style hellos, right? So I see Rod, I see Jasmine, I see Jack, I see Brady. It says that I have 9 concurrent viewers, but I have not yet seen everybody's name in the chat. So if you're out there, just taking a moment just to send me a quick note. I know a few people have also sent me a note on Edsby saying that they will be around. Good morning, Evan. All right. All right. There. Jackie, the icon that you've picked for your account is almost as disturbing as the one that I've got for mine. Let me tell you. It's still repeating yourself. I'm not sure what that means, Brady. I do wonder maybe if you leave the stream and then come back into it, it might work better for you. Definitely the old. I was going to say I definitely dated myself, Miss Tomlin. That was entirely a joke just for you and I. And I'm definitely older than you are. So, uh, okay, so we're up to 11 viewers now. So I'm hoping that when I filter back through and I send people an SV message asking whether or not you've attended the YouTube stream or not, and that you've got a sense of what's going on, you will tell me, oh, I was there. And I'm going to remind you that, just please put your name in the chat to say hello, to say good morning, those little positive events that we can have together, considering we would all much rather be together in the school and be working together on trying to get better at the skills that are worthwhile. So, Brady, I'm sorry that you're having technical difficulties. Still, I'm not sure what to do. Hopefully, you could respond to Jen. I know Jen's been trying to message you on Edsby to try to get connected with you. So maybe you two can figure out some technical fixes together. Okay. So I'm going to hop over into the Google Classroom. Just remember that when I'm looking at the Google Classroom, I can't see the chat, but if you do leave questions in there, I will come back to them on a regular basis. Okay, so hopping over to the Google Classroom, right? Thankfully, everybody seems to be getting a handle on the stream portion of it. I just wanted to highlight here that Miss Bernie, who is our prep coverage teacher, is putting notes up on the Google Classroom and on Edsby to remind you that she is available at different times for one-on-one support. If you're struggling with technical problems, if you're struggling with trying to figure out how to pull a certain assignment together. And you can obviously book a one-on-one appointment with me as well. As you know, I'm trying to manage homeschool for the three kids as well, and so therefore it is harder for me to run consistent meets like this. But if you do want to book some one-on-one time, even into the evening time, I'm happy to help you out as long as we can schedule it together. But Miss Bernie is available during the sort of more traditional school hours on a consistent basis. So the link there for if you just click on WebEx, even if you don't have it installed on your computer, the browser should go to it. She has the link right there. She's on between 9 and 11:30 today, so she's been on most of the morning. And then also you can send her a message on Edsby to set up any sort of one-on-one meeting. So Miss Bernie and I talk a lot. She knows all about the different work that we've been doing in the class. And so please take advantage of that if you are struggling. So far, most people have been handing in work, which makes me very happy, making my job far too easy, but that's okay. So I just want you guys to get better and enjoy your experience with the class. So clicking over to the classwork section, just to remind you, right, we're organizing it in a way just to keep it as simple as possible so that always at the top of the Google Classroom, you have your permanent sort of textbook section. But then under that, you have the newest work, today's work. And then under that, you have yesterday's work. Now, some of the things from yesterday I left in today's work because they're not finished per se. Like they were things that would go over multiple days. So that's why they're sort of out of balance right now. And then down at the bottom, we have work that would be from previous days beyond 2 days. So for example, if you're having trouble getting organized, or I figured this was the easiest way to say, here's what's today's, here's yesterday's, and then after that you go further into the past, right? So if you haven't finished some of yesterday's work, it is right here. And we will go over today's work first, okay? All right, so let's talk about Crab the novel first. Again, if you're looking for the audiobook, it is right here. We have the YouTube playlist for the audiobook as well as the MP3s. Okay, so whichever one works best for you. I would again recommend having the PDF version, which is right here, open so that you can try to your best to manage and follow along with the words in order to get a better sense of connecting the word sounds to the text. So Crab is a story that we've talked about already in class. This idea of rage quitting society, you know, of not self regulating and making big choices about your life without sort of taking the time to find that trusted adult or to find that person that might be able to best support you. And then Crab, of course, ends up running away and trying to live in the forest and ill prepared for what that is to come. Okay, so every day you're getting assigned one journal to read. Crab's book is written in a journal style where he is reflecting upon his adventures in the forest. And so today is journal number 2, is what we are on. Okay, so the work for journal number 2 is right here. Okay, I have been giving you guys feedback on the journal responses as you hand them in. If you send them to me on Google Classroom or in a Google file, I type right into the Google document, right? So if I look for areas, I always try to look for areas where you can add a bit more. I might ask you a secondary follow-up question and just type some more in there and just try. We're trying to figure out ways to build up your writing skills because everybody here has got lots of great ideas, but often I find myself sitting and waiting to get sort of the why do you think that portion of your thinking out there, right? So one of the questions for journal number 1 yesterday was, why do you think adults have a tendency not to listen to kids? And a lot of people said, well, it's because, you know, it's from my experience, that's exactly what happens. And I'm like, well, why do you think that? Like, what do you think could be different, right? Because I think that I learn a lot from young people all the time when I take the time to listen to them. They know lots more about stuff than I do, um, in certain subjects. Uh, but you know, I don't know the first thing about hunting. I don't know the first thing about motocross. I don't know the first thing about music, basically in general. And so, you know, what's different about adults that aren't willing to open their minds and aren't willing to it? Like, what is the dynamic there, and how can we figure out how to break it apart? So for today, right, we have step 1, read, listen to journal 2 for the novel Crab. Step 2, complete a reflection and attach to this post. So your response choices, again, try at least one, but hopefully do more, right? If you're only giving me a sentence or two for each answer, you should be doing more. But if you spend your time and you give me 3, 4, 5 sentences for each of these questions, for one of these questions, that's great. Okay. But then again, go back and make sure you look to see when I've returned it to you, what the feedback is for me in terms of where you can add a bit more to it. Okay. So question number 1, why was Crab sick of his life? What have you ever felt? Have you ever felt that way about your life? Explain your response. Now, again, a question like this, I'm not asking for you to spill all of your life secrets to me. Obviously, share what you feel comfortable sharing. But if this is a question that makes you feel uncomfortable and you're not really quite really go there, then just don't go down that pathway unless you feel like you're able to. Okay. So question number 2, Crab uses a simile, comparison using like or as to describe his planned escape. Quote, it was to be the one perfect act I'd perform in my life, pure, clean, like the edge of a razor. What do you think this image means, and why do you think Crab compares his escape to a razor, like a razor blade that you would shave your face with or shave your legs with? Okay, so that one's a little trickier, but think about it. And then question number 3, do you think you would be able to plan an escape the way Crab does? How would you go about it? What would you have to do to ensure your parents or guardians didn't find out? So here's the bad lesson for the day, right? So what is it that when Crab is planning on running away to the forest, um, do you basically you have to decide whether or not the plan is a good plan, and second, if you think that that kind of plan would work in any situation that is based in the reality of your life. Okay. And then, as always, there's a couple of words to look up the definition to because we are trying to increase your vocabulary. We're trying to give you some new words, right? So you have optimism, where it is in the book, and provisions, where it is in the book. Okay, so look up the definition for those. All right, so before I go on to the next one, I'm just going to pop over to the chat. You're seeing it there? Okay. Any questions about the journal before I go any further? Glad to see you got it there, Mr. Johnson. Makes me happy. All right, so moving on. So, character sketch, okay? So, first of all, this says due Friday, so it is not due today, okay? The instructions say to do this in group, but due to COVID, obviously, we're doing this individually, right? It's far too complicated to do group stuff. So, clicking on this link, okay, hopefully you guys can see this, okay? So, it says character sketch crab, okay? So, what is a character sketch? A character sketch is a group of traits. So it's not just like, it's not a sketch like a picture. It's meant to be a bunch of words or a bunch of ideas about what makes this character tick, right? So for example, a valid trait is kind. Tells you the kind of personality the character has, what their character is like. Thus, a trait expresses a character's personality. However, beautiful is not a character trait because it is not expressing their personality, it's just what's on the outside. Okay? Another invalid trait would be smoker. Smoker cannot be a trait because it is about what they're doing, not what they're like. Okay? So they are adjectives, they describe. Okay? So that's basically what you are supposed to be looking at. Okay? So the format of a character sketch can vary. The simplest of a sketch can be simply traits listed on paper. Adding to it is always nice. You can do webs, like mind maps, or if you're artistic, you can even draw a character and have the traits around them. Again, with distance learning on the computer, you would have to take a picture of it if that's what you chose to do. I'm not going to discourage you from doing it, but I don't want to burden you at the same time. Okay? So, if we back up a page here. Okay. So your assignment is to do a character sketch of Crab, the main character. This is where it says you may work alone or in pairs. We're obviously going to do this alone, okay? You will choose a minimum of 5 traits if you're working alone, so it's 5, okay? Each trait must be followed with evidence proving that the trait that you are claiming Crab to have is in fact true. The evidence, it should be between 1 to 3 sentences, okay? So I'm just going to copy this part right here, okay? And I'm going to go into here and I'm just going to make sure that you guys see exactly how this is going to work. Okay, so copying it in there, you will choose a minimum of 5 traits if you are working alone. Okay. Each trait must be followed with evidence proving that you are able to, the traits you're claiming Crab is in fact true. The evidence should be between 1 to 3 sentences. This will be shown by describing a part of the book. Okay, I'm not expecting you to actually pull and retype words out of the text, but I would like you to restate or summarize an event that happens in the first few chapters or first few journals that will show me that they have this trait. So if you think that they are smart, or if you think that they are crabby, using, of course, obviously his name, if you think that they are funny, if you think that they are kind, if you think that they are lazy, whatever aspects of their personality you think they have, state it, and then explain why you think so in 1 to 3 sentences. Okay? This, due on Friday, is really a rough copy about this because this is a skill around literacy and pulling a book apart and thinking deeper about it that takes some time to build. Okay? But I think it's important for you to be able to infer from the book what a character is all about because that's a skill that's going to serve you well in life regardless. This reading between the lines or making educated guesses based on evidence. Okay? So just know that on Friday, it's really a formative step where you're going to send me in some traits with some thoughts, and then I'm going to offer you some feedback for an opportunity to revise it and then resubmit it the next week that we are together. Okay? So, any questions about that? Yes, thank you, Ms. Tomlin, for the prompt. I also I send a message to every student that doesn't appear in the chat to just double check to make sure. There's a few students also that told me that they weren't going to make it this morning, so we're doing pretty good on attendance so far, I think, right now. Okay, so moving on to, we have some more worksheets as well around sentence fragments. Okay. So we're trying to get a baseline idea of where your strengths are in terms of writing. And sentence fragments are one of the biggest pitfalls of the young writer, right? Having incomplete thoughts that need reshaping. So these are sentences that need some editing. Okay. Ooh, hold on. Clicked on the wrong thing. And so you have an opportunity to go through them and to and try to edit them to make them more proper. Okay. The economy has everyone in the world worried and stressed, especially in the Midwest. Okay. So each item in the below contains a fragment. Fix it in the space provided. So if you notice, the first part of this sentence, the economy has everyone in the world worried and stressed, is a full sentence. Especially in the Midwest, is not a full sentence. It doesn't have an action word. It doesn't have a verb in it. So this all needs to get merged together into one sentence. Okay? Or something needs to be added to this part, the second part here, in order to make it more fulsome and more complete. Okay? So you'll have two different worksheets working on those. Okay? So take a look over those. Again, the goal here is not for perfection. The goal here is to send me a sense of where you're at with the particular skill so that I can offer you feedback for purposes of improving. Okay? All reward, no risk. So just take the time and try. Same with this paragraph editing assignment. Okay? Take a look at the paragraph included below. Rewrite it to fix the grammatical errors. Look, 5 people have turned it in already and it only came in at 8:04. You guys are awesome. This is a completion mark. Just give it a try. Okay? So again, same thing, lots of problems with this paragraph. I'd like to get a sense of your editing skills and how much you catch on a sort of a first go through. So once you've had a chance to go through that, I will fix it. I will take a sense of what it is, and I will point you in a couple of directions if you need it in order to go back and revise it and to complete it. Again, completion mark, all reward, no risk. Okay. The bottom two are left over from yesterday. Okay. I did again link you to the practice test for the OSSLT. We are going to go over it together as a class in the second week that we are here together. Okay. Um, but I want everybody to have a sense to go through it, to practice it, and again, to send me feedback about how you feel about the way it's laid out, how you feel about the questions. Some people have sent me notes saying like, "Oh, the multiple choice were great, but," and so on. So go through it. I only told you to try the first little part of it, but obviously, if you're on a roll, just go. Eventually, we're going to go through the whole thing. So if you want to take a practice run at it now, please feel free to go through the whole thing. Having some environmental exposure to the literacy test will serve you very well. Okay? So please do so. Okay? And then finally, we had this short story called Acceptance. Okay? It's on page 33. Okay, so if you actually click on the assignment, I know that it's cut off on the top, right? So it's in the textbook at the top on page 33. Um, so you write an answer to questions 1, A, B, C, D, and E, and then either in the private comments or in a Google Doc. And then you're going to be creating the poster that is listed as question 2. So this is your first opportunity to, again, present a media task to me, for an opportunity to give you some feedback and to get a sense of how you're approaching questions like this, right? So who are you making this poster for? What pictures or colors might get their attention? Should the poster be funny, serious, or a mix? What would keep people's eyes on it? Do you need to sketch a rough draft before you make it? What words should be on it? What is your main slogan going to be? What visual images might you be able to take from Google to really make this work? And I've included a link to Canva. You don't need to use Canva. You can use paper and pencils and take a picture of it. You can use a Word document with Google Images. I'm not too worried about that. I'm definitely not an art teacher. So um, try your best. Again, at this point, we're really just building a profile of who you are as an English student right now, and looking for opportunities to develop some skills. And this information will give me the feedback that I need in order to help you in the areas where you need the most help. Okay. So, Jack, for the character sketch, there's going to be the writing of the traits is going to be on it. If you want to do a piece of art that goes with it, that's fine too. Okay. Good morning, Kayla. So don't feel like you have to be stuck in a certain box with that. Do it whatever works best for you. Okay. But you do need to explain where in the story you're seeing the particular trait. So if you think that he's smart, you might write the word smart in your character's picture, but you do need to explain to me where in the story you feel Crab shows himself to be smart. Okay? Right. So that is all the work that is up on the Google Classroom. Obviously, we'll come back together at 2 o'clock in a Google Meet to go over some of the work that's there. The literacy test is in a state of flux right now with being at home. So I can't tell you the answer to that question because we don't know it. But it would be irresponsible to not prepare for it as if it's still coming. So therefore, we're going to practice it. If you end up writing it at another time, then that's when it will be. But most important is that we start giving you some environmental exposure to it right now. Okay? All right. Any other questions? Ms. Tomlin, did you enjoy your lesson today? Also, please know that, obviously as work comes in, we'll be doing a lot more sort of one-on-one kind of stuff where I will be giving you feedback inside the Google Classroom. We can set up, there's lots of you that we've been having back and forths on EdSpeed throughout the day. as well. If you need me to come on camera to go through a particular skill, obviously just reach out and or send Miss Bernie a message as well, and one of us will be able to get back to you in short order. Okay. Any other questions about what the work is for today? All right. Well, I'm going to keep the stream on for another minute or two, just in case anybody has any last minute questions. Otherwise, great already seeing some people submitting the work that was posted just this morning. I'm so glad that you guys are on it and seem to be able to get through it. And I'm getting lots of questions from those people that need a little bit further explanation. I really appreciate how well you're taking the constructive feedback that I'm sending you as well. That makes me feel as if we're building a good environment right here for growth. And overall, otherwise, I'll see you out in virtual land and stay tuned for a link to the Google Meet at 2 o'clock. Okay? So, say adios, and I will just stay here for another minute or two in case anybody has any last minute questions. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. I hope everybody's staying safe. I hope everybody's enjoying the snow, right? I got lots of snow out there. All right. I'm going to end the stream, seeing no more questions now. So please send me an Edsby message, email, get my attention somehow, and I'm right there for you anytime, okay? So good luck with your work, and we'll check in later today. See you later.